Alec Lace here at the press conference for the Navy SEAL March for Pete Hegseth. I got Marine veteran Jessica here with me. Now, after they just went through this entire thing about trying to get the DEI and the wokeness out of the military, first two questions were about race and about gender. And it seems like that's the things everybody wants to key on. They try to hammer Pete on his point. What was your message here? And just for my listeners, how you responded to that question of should women be in combat?
I think it's a matter of just because we can doesn't mean we should. And scrutinizing that question is really important. It's something that Pete is adamant about because he's recognizing the lowered standards, how this ideology is infiltrating and messing with the lethality of our defense and our warfighters that are serving abroad. Ultimately, we want the best and the brightest, the most ferocious individuals to serve in uniform. And so the biggest key thing that I didn't mention was when you lower standards so women can pass these hardcore tests to go into combat jobs. Think of now the betas in the male population who are getting by as well. So it's now a standard that is hitting women just so they can pass, but then it's also a standard in which lower capable men are now getting through these courses. So what does that mean to the alpha fighter who is out there and went through the standards that were higher, and they're seeing the type of warfighter that's standing next to them in combat? They're going to be dealing with the repercussions as well. So it's not a matter of women being, can they, should they, blah, blah, blah. What are we doing to mess with the standards that are now infiltrating our brothers and sisters who are going to be in the front lines?
That's a great point, Jessica. I can't understand the concept when it's our military, where it's like, about fairness, about all that. We want to win at all costs. I mean, that's what we hope. As a civilian myself, we are depending on our special war fighters, our military to protect us, foreign and domestically. And if we're going to be lowering the standards, it's not just them that's going to suffer. It's ultimately us, the ones that are being protected, are the ones that are going to suffer from all this stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I love that I got to serve in the Marine Corps as a woman when there was only 7% joining and being in capacity in the United States Marine Corps. It was the smallest percentage of women in any other branch. There was something very prideful about that, and I want to continue to honor and recognize the women that were before me and that come after me. But we have to be practical. Biology goes down to our bones. What does war say when you are not fit enough, when you are not ferocious enough to react to an adversary? A lot of women are physically not the same, on par to our male counterparts when it comes to muscle mass, bone density, speed, agility, all of these things. And it doesn't mean that we can't serve in another capacity, especially intellectually. We come forward with some great ideas, but just because we can doesn't mean we should. And that's the question that Pete's asking.
And that's what they've tried to do with Pete Hegseth, where they try to twist it to say he doesn't think women should be in the military at all. And that's what they're trying to do. And that was not what he was trying to say.
No, not at all. He respects every single person in uniform. And I say person, again, because specifically he is thinking about the character of the person and the individual in uniform, not based on their class, their color, their creed, their gender, or anything else in between. Who is that warfighter? Are they high caliber? Are they executing what we asked them to do as a United States service member? That's it.
And I'll tell you, this is an amazing, I know Bill said it's a historic event here. I don't know if we've ever had Navy SEALs come together like this for a Secretary of Defense, and he has overwhelming support. And for me, being a civilian, I would say your guys' word is good enough for me. So if you guys are supporting him, I take that as better than a politician sitting on the Hill saying it. So why are you here supporting Pete Hegseth, and are you going to be in the Capitol tomorrow, or are you going to be out in March?
I will be at the Capitol tomorrow with Pete Hegseth and then the group behind me that we all came out here. Again, I said this at the very beginning when I spoke on that podium, was look at the caliber of individuals in this room. We are high-performing intellectuals who want to serve our country and make sure that we demand the best out of other people around us. It's the Michelangelo effect, where we bring out the best in other people because that's what we demand of ourselves. I don't know if you can say that about the opposite side, and that's where we come into question when it's like, when Pete is backed by individuals like this, the teams, the SEALs, whoever, then they continue to bring forth a really good foot and represent themselves in an honorable way. You can't really question it because these are just honorable men and women in this room.
Let me ask you this last question because I don't know. How important is the Secretary of Defense as far as the people down the line, all the way? I would imagine in the groups like of the politicians and all that stuff, it's important to all of them. But the person serving on the line, your role in particular, were you aware of who the Secretary of Defense is? How much does it matter to the average Joe or Jane serving on the line?
Ultimately, there are being decisions that are made that we don't even really understand as an E1, E2, E3, E4. And as a young Marine, I kind of just put my head down and did my job. But that's why I'm advocating now as a veteran who's 30 years old. I'm still pretty young in the game, where I can see the big hiccups that were happening and the over-the-head type of mentality of decisions where things were not being done with people's best interests. So I think that ultimately younger warfighters are looking more to the higher echelon of leadership to say, what's going on here? This isn't right. And they are trying to advocate for their rights and what they believe in. And I don't believe that's historically been done. We kind of just put our heads down and followed orders. Now we are looking to question our leaders because horrible things have been done. The withdrawal from Afghanistan is a prime example of that. We want answers. We're tired of serving for an administration and ultimately a representation of the country that no longer serves in the best interest of those in uniform.
Really well said. I look forward to seeing you out there tomorrow. Thank you for your service. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of time on the Alec Lace Show.